Excellent. Our presenter today is Cristine Chickadel. She is presenting from the New Jersey Division of Disability Services. And the topic for today is Save Money While You Preserve SSI and Medicaid. The floor is yours.
Hi, thank you, April. Thank you, Amy. And thank you all for joining today. I see 42 people in the room. I think that's exciting. People that want to hear about the New Jersey Able Savings Program. To get started, I'll just give a little bit of a bio here. My name is Cristine Chickadel. I work for the New Jersey Division of Disability Services in Trenton. I am tasked as the New Jersey Able Savings Program representative. So my role is all things able. Myself and a partner at the state go out on the road, boots on the ground, and provide information to the public on the New Jersey Able Savings Program. I'm going to share my screen to get started here today. Okay. So I like to start by saying our mission at the Division of Disability Services, and that is to provide a single point of entry for those seeking disability-related information. And we aim to widely share that information that promotes maximum independence and full participation of people with disabilities within all aspects of community life. ABLE is an acronym, as you see it on your screen there, and what it stands for is Achieving a Better Life Experience. ABLE, first and foremost, is a law. It was signed into law into 2014 by President Barack Obama. It became active in our state of New Jersey in 2016, and really it only became available for public saving in 2018. So we're only looking at a program in our state for 5 years now, the ABLE program. The ABLE program was championed by a gentleman named Stephen J. Beck. So some of you might have seen it named the Stephen J. Beck ABLE Savings Act. He was a gentleman. He was from Virginia. He had a daughter with Down syndrome who was a youth at the time, and he saw a real gap in saving and independence for her, quite frankly, and people with disabilities like herself. So he championed this law to Congress, and it passed pretty unanimously back in 2014. Our New Jersey ABLE program is part of the National ABLE Alliance. And what that is a consortium of 19 states that have joined forces, joined together to just really keep the financial component and the ABLE savings program very competitive and strong. If you could, everyone, it seems by what Amy and April said, know how to use their reactions. If you could, by a show of hands or a thumbs up or a clap or one of them, let me know if who has heard of ABLE before we go through this presentation. I'm just curious. We'll get a tally going. But today, I'm going to share some very basic information on the ABLE program in case you haven't heard of it before, the benefits of its saving and investing, and how it's really one of its kind in terms of its effects on SSI and Medicaid, or I like to say the lack thereof, really. The presentation material, the slide deck that I have that you're seeing, is going to take about 25-30 minutes, and then we'll open up the floor for questions, any comments about it. I often answer questions throughout the program, so if you could put the questions in the chat, we'll open up the floor at the end. There's some ABLE stories and some frequently asked questions we'll go over towards the end of the deck. So what is ABLE? ABLE is a 529 savings account. It's a savings program that enables the ability to preserve and protect assets while still qualifying for means-tested benefits. ABLE is a 529A account, and that A stands for the appendix. So it's the back end of that 529 that some of you might be familiar with. It's a college savings tax advantage savings law. The savings account is owned by a person with a disability. It can be opened by a person with a disability, or they can designate a representative to act on their behalf. It helps them, people with disabilities, and their families save money. That's what it is. It allows for saving for the disability-related expenses on a tax-free basis, and it preserves the ability to benefit from federal programs. With our two biggest programs that we highlight the most with ABLE is SSI and Medicaid. but it also preserves the ability, so assets are disregarded when determining eligibility for other federal programs, such as HUD, SNAP, and TANF. So when you go to apply for those services, they do not look at money inside of an ABLE account. That's what that means. This is the best part about the program, about the savings account. The funds inside ABLE savings do not count towards the asset resource limits established by these means tested benefits programs that I just mentioned. ABLE funds are intended to supplement and not replace such government benefits. ABLE accounts are easy to establish, easy to use, have low costs, and the assets inside of them grow tax-free. So how does somebody become eligible to open an ABLE account? Who and how does somebody qualify to open an ABLE account? It requires 2 items. All applicants must have a disability present before the age of 26 years old. So the disability has to be onset before 26. There was new legislation passed the very tail end of 2022. And that age of 26 will increase to 46 years old, but it won't happen for about 2.5 years. It happens in 2026. But for now, that disability onset has to happen before the age of 26 years old to be eligible. And in addition to that, you have to have one of the following. You are eligible for SSI or SSDI because of a disability. You do not have to have those programs, but eligible for them. You're blind, you experience blindness as deemed by the SSA, or a comparably severe disability that a licensed physician can attest to or write a letter for you saying such. So that's it. ABLE is self-certifying. There really is no documentation needed to open an ABLE account. We like to say in financial world, it's under penalty of perjury that no documentation is needed. You say when you go into the application that you have these 2 items here, one of these, and then you can open an ABLE account. We do suggest that people keep a file of this diagnosis, on hand in their house in the event that you're audited by the IRS or SSA, who are the ABLE governing organizations. So the use of funds, how can you use the money inside your ABLE account? This is something that I really like to talk a little bit more about, because in doing these presentations over the years, I feel like this is a little bit of a misconception, if you will. People think that ABLE accounts are limited, and they're really not. So you can use your ABLE money for qualified disability expenses. And the definition of what that is any expense that is incurred as a result of living with a disability and intended to improve quality of life. This is a self-certifying program. You tell us in your mind that you meet that this expense that you're making is within this definition, and then you can use your funds to pay for it. And it is not limited to medical necessities. So to go through some qualified disability expenses, in the realm of education, you can pay for tuition, a tutor, books, any educational resources, health and wellness, housing, buy a house with money saved in your ABLE account, pay rent, or make any kind of home modification. Transportation, pay for Uber, Lyft, or bus services with your ABLE funds. Buy your own car. Legal fees can be paid, financial management, employment training and support. So in that area, start your own business with money that is saved in an ABLE account. You can do that. Job training or development. Assistive technology, personal support services, oversight and monitoring, and lastly, and I like to say loudly, prepaid funeral and burial expenses. And I'll go over why I say that's a kind of a big deal in a few slides from now. But I've even seen people pay for smartphones with ABLE funds, go on vacation, buy an Xbox, pay for paint for the walls of their group home, all these qualified disability expenses. So ABLE has some very special tax advantages to it, which is another great benefit of having an ABLE account. ABLE savings may grow and be withdrawn tax-free, obviously provided they're used for what we categorize as that qualified disability expense. And earnings on ABLE monies may be compounded federally tax deferred, maximizing the return on your investment. So what does that mean? So there's 2 different ways you can save your money in an ABLE account. On one hand, you can do a checking savings account, and on the other hand, you can put it in a stock bond portfolio account or any combination of the two. So if you make earnings, so interest on that savings account or income from those investment accounts that you make on that money does not get reported on the account owner's annual tax return. There is no impact on current government benefits. If you start to zone out, if you leave this presentation, you're like, what was that about? This is the biggest deal about having an ABLE account. This is why people would want to open an ABLE account. Assets saved will be disregarded when determining eligibility for important means-tested federal benefits. The two most common are SSI, Supplemental Security Income, and Medicaid. So many of you might know that are listening today that people with disabilities typically cannot save more than $2,000 in their own name without risking losing benefits as such. The ABLE program, the ABLE Savings Account and Law, is the first of its kind to circumvent this parameter. It's really special and it's incredible. So here are some more details about the impact of SSI and Medicaid. For SSI, you can save up to $100,000 in your ABLE account to continue to remain eligible for the SSI benefit. Exclude it from your resource limit. If your savings inside ABLE exceed 100 grand, your SSI will temporarily cease, but be reinstated automatically when the balance drops below 100 grand. For Medicaid eligibility, we don't care how much you have in that, as long as you're within the terms of the New Jersey ABLE program. ABLE assets are always disregarded when determining Medicaid eligibility. I do have to mention that New Jersey ABLE is subject to a Medicaid payback provision. This is very common and in line with any programs out there that are government-based. This can only be implemented after any and all qualified disability expenses have been paid. So that's why I said a little earlier why the funeral and burial was a big deal, because after an ABLE beneficiary passes away, their ABLE savings, money that they have left in an ABLE account, can be used to pay for their funeral and burial expenses, for example, or any outstanding bills or services they have by their heirs, by their family or friends that are managing their account. The state can then request payback for the money that's then left in there on the money that they paid towards that Medicaid benefit during the duration of the time that individual had an ABLE account. The state would have to file a claim for those funds. And like I said, it can be drawn down with items as mentioned before this could happen. So I'm going to go through some facts right now on ABLE. So I did just mention the beneficiary. The beneficiary of the ABLE account is the account owner or the person with the disability. Another person, such as a parent, guardian, or person with power of attorney, can have signature authority over the ABLE account. So if somebody doesn't have the legal capacity to manage their finances, a person with a disability, they can authorize an authorized individual to act on their behalf for their ABLE account. This is all done by legal limitations and priority hierarchy, and you'll see that when you go onto an application to apply for an ABLE account. They're listed in tiered hierarchy, and it is a standard federal document that's listed by. Secondly, income or interest earned by the account will not be taxed. So your ABLE monies are not taxed when it's getting deposited, nor when it's being withdrawn. Contributions or deposits made to the account can be made by anyone. And I think this is such the most awesome way that somebody can see their ABLE funds grow, by people depositing for them into their ABLE account. ABLE account, the savings checking is FDIC insured up to $250,000. And people can be given a secure link that can deposit money into somebody's ABLE account. The contributions inside are not intended to be tax deductible, and some states have tax deductions, but we do not in New Jersey for state income tax deductions, just federal. And all the funds inside of an ABLE account grow tax-free. The fourth bullet here is a big deal for our ABLE savers who are employed or go to get a job. because contributions to an ABLE account are made using post-taxed dollars. So because it's already been taxed by an employer, it will not be tax deductible for federal tax purposes. And lastly, somebody can open an ABLE account in any state. It does not have to be your state of residence, but you are only allowed to have one ABLE account, and there are 46 states with ABLE plans. Every state has an ABLE plan except for 4, and I think they're coming on board soon. ABLE accounts are very user-friendly. You can open an account online, and this is the direction that we do advise you to do if you're able to open it, no pun intended. If you're able to open it online, that's the best way to go to do it. You cannot walk into a bank to open an ABLE account. You can, I'll tell you other ways you can do it in a moment, but so you can use $25 of your own money to open your ABLE account. It's funded and ready to use. That's the minimum. You can access your ABLE account 24/7 from a computer, tablet, or smartphone, and it can be accessed by phone or online. So this page is kind of a big deal. So this is the maximum surrounding New Jersey ABLE. So ABLE accounts afford very high maximums. So you can deposit up to $17,000 a year into your ABLE account. In New Jersey, we do have a lifetime balance limit of $305,000. ABLE has very low fees. So for the investment portfolio option, if you choose to go with that, the range for the fee on that is 0.3 to 0.38%. If you make portfolio investment changes, there are change fees that can also incur, and we do limit that to 2 a year. So if you change from moderate to conservative, for example, you can do that twice a year. Each ABLE account is subject to maintenance fees, which is very typical and aligned with any financial savings account. It costs $14.50 per quarter, which equates to $58 a year to have an ABLE account. $483 a month is another way to look at it. It is assessed on statements quarterly, $14.50. This fee can be discounted if you opt for e-delivery of statements, and it drops from the $58, it drops down to $33 a year to have an ABLE account. We also have, as I mentioned a couple times already, a checking savings component. So if you opt to go the checking account option, there is a monthly service fee additionally of $2, but that is zeroed out and waived if your balance is over $250 or if you opt for the e-delivery. This is a great visual here of how you can invest your money with ABLE. So there are all different ways you can do it. So as I said, checking, savings, or portfolio investment is how you can save your money. When you go to apply, you can break that down however you want. So you can put 90% of your money into a stock option, 10% in bond, break it up into 60% of your deposits are going into your easily accessible checking, saving debit card that you can tap and use as you wish. And you're going to stock the rest of them away, like on this bottom right side here, 10% in stocks, 30% in bonds, just to give you an idea of the plethora of different ways you can save with ABLE. So the next few slides surround some provisions that come with New Jersey ABLE. Rollovers are possible. It is possible to roll over an existing 529 college savings into the 529A account. And in order to do that, the ABLE beneficiary or that account owner has to be either the current 529 account owner or a family member, like a sibling of the beneficiary of the 529 college savings account. So the funds rolled over from that 529 into the ABLE 529A are still subject to the annual $17,000 contribution limit, assuring or considering that no other funds were contributed that year. This is another great tax advantage, utilizing the eligibility of the Savers Credit, which is also known as a Retirement Savings Contributions Credit. And this type of information, if it's over your head, maybe, because it can be for some people, here's the link at the bottom of the screen to the IRS webpage. So this is really advisable to just send this link to your tax preparer or financial advisor to make sure that you're getting this credit due to your ABLE funds. So what it is this Savers Credit allows for a tax credit to low and moderate income taxpayers who contribute to a retirement account, like a 401k or IRA. In order to benefit from this credit, you have to be the designated beneficiary and be over 18, not a full-time student, nor claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax return. The credit amount is a certain percentage of your contribution, depending on annual gross income. So if you're working, and the maximum benefit that you can tap from this, utilizing this, is $2,000 off of your taxes. And I think these slides are being disseminated, so don't worry about hastily writing down this very long web address. We will share these slides, so you can just click on this and all the other links forthcoming that are part of this deck. So there is an ability to save beyond the $17,000. And I think this is such a fabulous new legislation that was passed for able savers, because really what we're trying to do, you know, as society, is get people with disabilities to work and not penalize them for working and having gainful employment. So through this legislation, able account owners who work can contribute beyond the $17,000 annual contribution limit, which is so great. So in order to do that, there's a form that is on our website. It's under the form section, very easy to locate. I can show you at the end of the deck if anybody wishes. But in order to contribute beyond 17, you fill out the form because you have a job, and you're able to contribute up to an additional $13,590, which equates to a total contribution per year of $31,580. This is determined by federal poverty limits for the year, or up to how much people make in their employment. So if you're making 20 grand, the maximum, you can't put all that away. The maximum you can put away per year is 13,500, totaling that to 31,580. Contributions above the $17,000 limit are in fact limited to contributions made specifically by that account owner into their own able account. So you can't utilize that gift, having parents or family or anyone put additional beyond 17 in people's able accounts. This is only for those that are employed. And the additional contributions are only allowed if the account owner, the beneficiary, is not participating at the time in their employer retirement fund. So how do you do it? How do you open an account? I mentioned earlier that you cannot walk into a bank to open an able account. So to let you know, the way that people save in the checking savings component is through Fifth Third National Bank. That too manages the National Able Alliance, all of our 19 states' checking savings accounts. So Fifth Third National Bank is very similar and in line to local banks that we have in our state, such as Wells Fargo or Ocean First, any federal bank. They're a Midwestern bank, and this is who runs our ABLE programs, which has a lot to do with the fact that why you can't walk into a bank, because these other banks around here don't have the ability to do so. But even if you do visit Illinois or Indiana, they want you to go online. That's the best way to do it. And our website is nj.savewithable.com. That's our New Jersey one. And savewithable.com is our alliance site where you can register and apply for an ABLE account. If you're not comfortable doing it that way, you can call our program manager and speak with a representative to very securely give personal information and open an ABLE account, or you can print the application offline and email it to our ABLE program manager, or send it in via snail mail, US mail. You see at the bottom of the screen a census. So a census is that program manager that you would call if you called to speak with somebody, and they are the program manager, and they're the ones that run the investment components to the ABLE programs within the Alliance. So I'm going to go through 3 slides right now that focuses on some frequently asked questions. And the first one, who can open an ABLE account? Did I skip it? Yep. An individual with a disability can open it for themselves, or they can have somebody assist them as an authorized individual to open it on their behalf. And who is that authorized representative or authorized individual? It can be a power of attorney, conservator or guardian, family member, or Social Security rep payee on behalf of the individual. Do you have to prove that your withdrawals from your ABLE account are for those qualified disability expenses that we discussed? And the answer is no, not at the time. It's advised that you keep a receipt of your purchases in the event that it is requested by our auditing or governing organizations, the IRS or SSI. So I like to say, if somebody uses their ABLE account to go to the movies or go to the local Wawa or 7-Eleven to buy things through a debit card, I don't really think you have to save every single receipt for that. But if you're making large purchases with your ABLE account, like a home remodel, a vehicle, or education, just have a file at home to save your receipts, just like you would with any of your financial accounts. So can somebody have more than one ABLE account? And the answer is no. It doesn't matter which state you live in. State residence does not play a part to where you can open your ABLE account. You can in fact only have it in one state. So just to give you an example, a lot of people will see move from New York or Pennsylvania into New Jersey. If they have an existing Pennsylvania ABLE account, they do not have to close that when they move to New Jersey. They can keep it active and operating as usual. If they opt to want to stay within their state, then they would have to close their Pennsylvania ABLE account, and then they could open a New Jersey ABLE account, and it's a very seamless process. But you cannot have two ABLE accounts, just one, no matter what state. Secondly, can friends or family make contributions into my account? I think I said that multiple times because I think it's such the best way where you can see your ABLE funds grow. And people as young as a child that's born with a disability, their family wants to open their ABLE account, they can start putting money away for them. Family and friends can contribute directly to the account by the secure portal on our webpages called YouGift. How often can you change those investments if you opt for the portfolio checking? And I did mention this, but it's twice per calendar year. So if you have all your money, let's say you open an ABLE account and you put 100% of your funds into a portfolio account, and you do it conservatively, but you're like, I want to do it moderate. You can only do that twice a year. And lastly, will ABLE affect HUD subsidy? I did mention earlier, it does not. ABLE assets, money inside of ABLE accounts, are completely disregarded when determining HUD subsidy or HUD eligibility. This is a site you can go to for more information on that. And then this next question is we're going to talk a little bit more deeply about, but can somebody have both an ABLE account and a special needs trust or pooled income trust? And yes, 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 they can, and they work really well together. So what are the differences? Never mind. What are the differences between an ABLE account and a special needs trust or pooled income trust? With an ABLE account, you have more control. The account beneficiary is the account owner. Account owners have the ability to make choices and control their funds as any circumstances in their life change. With a special needs trust, a trustee or trustees have control of the money. You can access your money much easier with an ABLE account. There we have various options, as I said many times: checking, savings, portfolios, stocks. They make them very more flexible and accessible than other types of trusts and savings accounts. Special needs trusts can be more complicated and have more rules in order to preserve eligibility for benefits. And then the setup. ABLE account. You go online when you open your ABLE account, you can link a current bank account and deposit a minimum of $25 into it, and it's active, funded, and ready to use. With a special needs trust, they typically have very high minimums, and I think they almost always require an attorney for assistance in setting up. I'm going to read through 3 stories here about people who use ABLE and how it benefits them in their life. The first one is Lauren, who is a parent of an ABLE account owner and her son's strongest advocate. It's her #1 job. That's why she opened an ABLE account in February 17 for Stephen, who has trisomy 9 mosaic, a rare chromosomal disorder. Funds inside Stephen's account will be used to save for his future and to replace the family's aging van with a wheelchair accessible one. Lauren quotes, "As a parent, ABLE has given me peace of mind to knowing I can set up my son financially for his current and future needs without risking benefits. Creating an ABLE account is not time-consuming and very easy to do from the comfort of your own home. You really have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Even small contributions over time can have a significant impact on quality of life. And there you see Lauren with her family and their wheelchair accessible van. Secondly is about Katie, and she is an able account owner herself. She's 28 years old. She works full-time and has Medicaid. She has cerebral palsy and is using her able account to save for disability-related equipment and to build her dream HGTV quality accessible home. Katie quotes, "The process of getting an able account is pretty painless. It seems counterintuitive to everything we have been told. I'm a living, breathing example that this does not count against you. I'm getting the same services as before. And unlike a trust, it isn't expensive." And then you see Katie with her partner and cats, it appears. And the last story is really a great example of how you do not have to be under the age of 26 to open an ABLE account and benefit from the program. Because we're talking about Edward here. He's 31 years old and he's an ABLE account owner himself. He's ABLE eligible due to a spinal cord injury from a hit and run car accident when he was 17 years old. That's what made him eligible before 26. He has an MBA and is working 2 part-time jobs. He's using his ABLE account to save up for vehicle modifications and to finally move out of his parents' house and into his own accessible housing. Edward quotes, "ABLE has allowed me to start saving without penalizing or jeopardizing my benefits. My parents worry what will happen to me when they are no longer able to help or they have died. ABLE gives them some peace of mind about my future. Plus, unlike a special needs trust that must be controlled by a trustee or trustees, ABLE gives me, a person with a disability, control over my finances and increased independence." And there you see Edward with some Star Wars figures. This slide here shows 4 great resources. Like I said, you'll get this deck. You can click on these links. The ABLE National Resource Center, the Social Security Administration has a great page on ABLE. The IRS on ABLE accounts, and the newest organization and very robust is ABLE Today. It's part of the National Association of State Treasurers. A lot of really great constituent groups or subcommittees come from the ABLE Today group. And I will say, through ABLE Today and the governmental body that really organizes them, we have a lot of legislative initiatives that are on the table right now being presented to Congress and the president to continue to bolster and increase the benefits and the usability of ABLE, because it's so new. So there's a lot we're working on and doing. And ABLE is just a very strong program that has shown a lot of benefit for people. This is my contact information. Please don't hesitate with anything to ever reach out. The best way to get me is my email here, but I can be called as well. And I also do these presentations anywhere in the state via Zoom or in person. So if you have any constituent groups that could benefit from this information, I would be delighted to join and share this information. The more people that know about ABLE, the better, to improve the lives of people with disabilities and get them to be independent and live an independent life. So I will open it up with April and Amy if they want to lead any questions that people might have.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Someone said this is really impressive. It's helpful. Someone asked, what age can you open an account?
I have a new deck that I'm coming that says that right away. I can't wait to use it because it's the number 1 question I get, and it's any age. Any age can open an ABLE account. There's no limitations, but as I did say many times, you just have to have that disability onset before the age of 26 years old. But you can open an ABLE account for somebody that's 1 month old to 99 years old.
Excellent. Thank you. Is the 13.5 thousand beyond the 17,000 available to all ABLE accounts nationally, or is it only for New Jersey ABLE accounts?
I believe, and I can look that up more detail, but I'm almost certain it's a federal regulation or federal initiative. So yeah, the Able to Work Act that's the answer. Yes, available in every state.
Okay. Someone asked, what do you need for proof of disability?
So ABLE self-certifying. So what I will do is, let's see if I can do this right here. Can you see the ABLE?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is what it looks like if you decided to go online and apply for an ABLE account. This is what you'll get to.
Sorry, Christine, we're still seeing your slide deck.
Oh. Okay, let's share screen and go to this page. Thank you for telling me that. Can you see the web page now? Okay.
Yes.
This is what it'll look like if you go online to apply for an ABLE account or page, and you start here and you click to open an ABLE account. Remind me of my question again.
Where was I? Sorry.
Me too. What did they ask?
What age can you open an account? The money question. It was, oh wait, I think somebody's messaging. Are ABLE accounts available to people with mental health disabilities? Oh, proof of disability was the question.
Oh, proof. Thank you. I'm
Thank
so
you,
sorry.
Jill.
I got myself sidetracked. No, ABLE self-certifying, no documentation is needed whatsoever. I do advise people when they go in to apply, go to our webpage, they start the process here. It's best to have information on a current bank account because you can put that routing number and account in there. So you fund your account initially. It's $25 of your own money to fund it. You'll need that documentation. And if you're opening the account as a power of attorney for somebody, very often our program manager will ask you to submit that power of attorney documentation alternately, mail it to them or scan it over to them. So bank account is needed. The other thing that you need, an individual with a disability has to have a state issued identification in order to open an ABLE account. So we don't expect everyone to have driver's licenses, but you can get the New Jersey state issued ID, and you need that ID number that's on that to put into your ABLE account. Because our accounts are linked with Social Security, this is the reason they have to know identities of folks. So no documentation aside from a state issued ID, advisable to have a bank account to link to fund it, and then potentially a power of attorney if it's needed. That's the only documentation.
Does a passport count?
Oh, yes. I think that is, yeah.
Okay.
An eligible form of identification, yes.
Are ABLE accounts available to people with mental health disabilities?
Yes, I get this question sometimes. So as far as you self-certify, your disability, that you have a disability that limits one or more life activities. So there's on the Social Security webpage, which I can go back to that if you want, but there is a list of called compassionate care allowances. Sometimes I resist telling people this because I don't want this to hold you up and, hastily or, checking that list to make sure your disability is listed there. It doesn't have to be, but if you're very concerned about that, you can go on Social Security's webpage and type list of compassionate care allowances, and all the plethora of disabilities is listed there. But under the ADA, substantially limits one or more life activities. That's all you really need to have, and you can just self-certify, attest that you have that, and apply for an ABLE account.
Thank you very much. Another question is, can the ABLE account be used for food and entertainment?
Oh, yes. I think that is number one disability expense. So yes.
Can SSI be direct deposited? Also, any issues for titling or direct deposit if using representative payee?
So yes, you can deposit funds into your ABLE account, linking them directly. Think about why people get Social Security monies. They're getting it because they need this to live. If you're getting your money and just dumping your entire SSI check into your ABLE and not really using it, then you don't really need that for your life, right? It is advised that you deposit Social Security monies into your standard bank account and then take some of that you might not need so that your balance in that account does not go over $2,000 and go deposit it into ABLE. So you can link a portion of it to direct deposit into ABLE, but not the whole sum. That was the one half of the question. There was another half of the question, I think.
Oh, no. All right, hold on.
I should be looking at them too, April. Let me see.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Also, any issues for titling or direct deposits if using representative payee?
So when you go into, let me show you something else here too. When you go into apply for an ABLE account, if you're an SSA rep payee on behalf of somebody opening that, there is some different considerations, stipulations. You can see my screen, correct? Enrollment form.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what it's going to look like. And this process, if you go and you click the link inside on our ABLE webpage, this is what this is the enrollment form, okay? It's 12 pages. I don't know if I said this, but it takes 20 up to maybe 40 minutes to complete. If you're a rep payee doing that, this is one of the ones you're going to choose. And you're going to probably be choosing the last one, I believe. I'm opening the ABLE account as the person or a representative of an entity with authority to open the account for an eligible adult who does not have legal capacity as defined in our disclosure booklet. There is going to be separate information that you will fill out as you see. It says go to section 3 to complete it. You will scroll down and you'll have some different rules for being the AI, authorized individual, authorized representative on behalf of somebody. But we encourage that. Like if Social Security rep payees, it's a great way to put some of your constituents' money to help them save their money. We saw an influx of SSA rep pay agencies that helped people open ABLE accounts when we had that COVID extra money they got. I always forget the name of it. Do you remember when everyone got the checks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And people are like, oh my gosh, if we deposit it, what are we going to do? So they're buying comforters and posters. And now you can get some of that excess money. And instead of putting it under your mattress, we can put it in our ABLE account. So we did see an influx with SSA rep pays helping people in opening an ABLE account. I hope that answered the question.
Excellent. Thank you. Someone said, can you please define lifetime balance limit?
So, yep, in the state of New Jersey, this is in the state of New Jersey, the lifetime balance limit is $305,000. So somebody with an ABLE account can't see their balance exceed $305,000. You can use that, withdraw that your whole life. You know, it's not a yearly contribution like we have the 17 cap. You can only put 17 a year. Even if you put 17 on January 1st and you spend $17,000 on January 30th, you can no longer contribute to your ABLE account. You got it there. The balance limit can be used. So you can't hold more than $305,000 in a New Jersey ABLE account. Other states have different caps. So New Jersey is specific with 305. I've seen other states have like 500 some balance limits. So that would be different state by state.
Would they be able to pay for painting their bedroom in their family's home or repairing the floor?
Yes, they could. If it's due to their disability that, you know, yes, I've had that question before. You can pay for paint in your residence. I had somebody recently ask me, we want to get an accessible vehicle for our child to be able to transport them. Can it be in our name, in the parent's name? Okay, with ABLE money. So you're using ABLE funds to buy an accessible vehicle, but they want to put it not in that individual with the disability's name, and that's allowed. You can do that. Mm-hmm. So it's very flexible. It's a very flexible account. So yes.
Someone said, I can only open ABLE account managed by my own state. Is that right?
No, incorrect. You can open an ABLE account wherever you live. It doesn't matter your state of residence. So this is a good example of that is mom lives in New Jersey, dad lives in New York. Where do you open an ABLE account? Doesn't matter. Either state, even if mom lives in New York, dad lives in Jersey, or whatever I just said, and then everybody moves to California. They can keep that existing ABLE account that they opened, and it doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you. I believe I got all of the questions in the chat box. If you have another question or a comment for our presenter, please feel free to add it in now.
And I will put my information back on the screen to reach out to me if there's any additionals ever. don't hesitate to please contact me.
Excellent, thank you. Someone said, aside from balance limits, how do ABLE accounts vary by state?
Okay, that answer is right here. Because I know New Jersey able, not the other 46 states. That would be like really good if I did know all that. So to what you do to get that answer specifically, because you might have like what I just said, that situation, two parents in different states. This top website right here, ablenrc.org. Go to that website and in the top search bar, top right corner, search comparison tools. And you can put up to 3 different states and it will give you a nice chart listed out what the difference of those states are and what other states have that we don't, New Jersey. One other example is a state income tax deduction. We do not have state benefits for ABLE accounts currently in New Jersey, just federal. Some states offer special state income tax benefits. And the other thing, a big deal of that, to answer that question, is your balance limits that you did say you knew that already. But to go to that comparison tool to look at those other differences that I'm not super well versed on.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, that concludes the workshop today. Thank you to Cristine from the New Jersey Division of Developmental Disabilities.
No,
Sorry, New Jersey Division of Disability Services with the workshop, Save Money While You Preserve SSI and Medicaid. Thank you for your knowledge and sharing of these resources.
thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.